Everest. And I knew in my head it was going to take a minimum of 3 to 6 months of hard work just to get back on my fucking feet. And I didn't have it in me at the time. I thought I had it in me at the time because that's why I didn't give up. And I made it out of there. But it didn't take much to put me back on my ass when I got out of there either. But anyway, so this massive fucking mountain was in front of me, and it sounds kind of stupid, but I knew if I fucking walked out in front of a passing car, it wouldn't mean shit. But if I managed to climb that fucking mountain and get to the top, it would mean fucking all kinds of awesome. I mean, it would mean a lot to a lot of people to see that happen. For me to see that happen, for me to make it happen. And so I challenged myself, you know. I didn't take it very seriously at the time. You know, it probably took me a year to take it serious, which was about 4 months ago. But I challenged myself to turn all of this bullshit, all of this, and I was the source of the bullshit. I caused the bullshit, a lot of self-sabotage. So I had nobody to blame really other than myself. And I just felt like I can do something with this. You know, I can turn this into something, and that's a big part of what this podcast is all about. And I feel like I'm kind of rambling a little bit, and I'm losing track. So I wanna fucking bring it back home. But like I was saying at the beginning of the episode, this show is primarily for anybody who can relate with these types of feelings, or they want to be able to understand friends of theirs who have been through these types of things, or they want to, I don't know. But I want this show. Dude, I've been talking for a long time. And I've been rambling for like the last 5 minutes, and I apologize for that. This is longer than I'm used to just talking to myself out loud. I want this show I want this show to be something that people can go to, they can hold on to, and it can be an escape for them if they're in a dark place. So all of my favorite podcasts, that's exactly what they were for me. All my favorite artists, you know, I rediscovered Linkin Park during these 2 weeks without my glasses, while, you know, during those really dark 2 weeks and those super dark 3 months. My favorite podcasts, my favorite musicians, my favorite authors, I listen to a lot of audiobooks at the Salvation Army, and still do to this day. But those were the only highlights for me. Those were the only good moments during those times. Those were the only breaks in the clouds. And if it wasn't for those things, I don't know if I would have made it. I might have, but it would have been 10 times worse. And I don't know if I would have had any chance at all of holding on to any form of positivity. Because even though I was the most miserable I've ever been in my entire life, I spent all of my free time on Facebook trying my best to make other people laugh, or to talk to other people, or to give advice to other people, or to help other people sort their shit out. While I was at the Salvation Army, I talked to other people that were there and helped them sort their shit out. I basically acted, as somewhat of an amateur therapist, and I continue to do that to this day for friends of mine on Facebook, something I started at the Salvation Army and something I continue doing now. And it's also one of the aspects of this show. I kind of want to use this to give advice. I want people, if you got fucking questions on things, or if you want my opinions on shit, or if you want to hear certain personal stories about times in my life or whatever, you can fucking ask me, or email me at positivelyinsanepodcast@gmail.com, your questions or thoughts or whatever, your suggestions, topic suggestions you want to hear me discuss on the show, any of that shit. And if it's good enough, or if I think it's relatable to enough people, or if I think it's a topic that I have good advice on, I'll throw it on the show. I'll talk about it for sure. Because I've been spreading myself too thin a lot of the times. There have been nights where I've worked a 10-hour shift at work, and then I spent 5 or 6 hours after work talking to people who are trying to get sober, trying to stop doing drugs, or, sorry, you can hear my footsteps, I'm walking around now. People who are depressed, trying to figure out why not to eat a bullet, that type of shit. I spend a lot of time doing that, but it leaves very little time for my own shit. It leaves very little time for myself. So I'd like to kind of use this podcast as a way of filling that role. I want to try to help people, give advice, answer questions, talk about interesting subjects, how to stay positive, things that I've done in the past and am currently doing to help pull my head out of my ass and get my shit together. Like I said, I've been working for the last 4 months, and it hasn't been easy. It's been a process, because I spent, in the last 2 or 3 years, I worked maybe between 6 and 9. No, that's not true. In the last 3 years, I probably worked a year and a half here and there, and then a year and a half I didn't do shit. And so it took a lot to just get myself motivated to wake up every fucking day and go. It took me the first month solid before I could be okay getting up and going to work. It's like I started looking forward to doing it because I knew what I could do with the money, and I felt positive about being responsible for the first time in a long fucking time, and all kinds of bullshit. So there's a lot of things that I have done, a lot of things I've tried to maintain that momentum, and some things have worked and some things haven't, and I'll talk about a lot of that shit in future episodes. I'll talk about projects I want to work on, creative projects, music projects, writing projects. I want to have guests on the show in the future. I have 2 microphones now, and I just bought it's a super cheap, super small, 4 input mixing board for $25. It's all you really need to do something like this. So I can start having guests on when I get that. I can have up to 3 guests, all run to the mixing board right into my phone. Excuse me, onto Spreaker and get uploaded. So I'm gonna start doing a lot of different shit with the show. It's not always gonna be just me sitting here talking about depressing shit. I am gonna talk about a lot of depressing shit that I've gone through, specifically, so at the I'm sorry. Let me start over. I'll talk about a lot of depressing shit, but the whole point of it is to explain that if you don't fucking stop moving forward, if you don't give up, if you keep going, you keep trying, you can find reasons, you can find ways to, I don't like to use the term trick your mind into thinking positive, but you can rewire your fucking brain. It takes daily practice. You have to spend every day, you have to spend the majority of every day thinking positively in one way or another, whether it's about yourself, whether it's about your situation, whether it's about the future, You know, whatever you have to focus on a regular, consistent basis to rewire your brain for whatever, whether it's success, whether it's positivity, whether, you know, it's finding happiness. And I'm not saying that I'm always a positive guy. I'm not always a happy guy. That's the whole reason why I do almost everything I do, is because I'm on that journey to be happier, to be positive, to be successful at whatever it is that I do. So this is as much for me as it is for you. It's a way for me to kind of reach people who relate, who've been through some shit, and let them know that they're not alone. It's a way for me to hopefully help, you know, because I don't know, it's fuck, man, you know, I still got fucking 4 minutes to talk, and I don't want to start this whole thing over. I've been talking about this fucking podcast episode for a long time. You guys have been super patient, and I'm disappointed with the momentum of the episode. I feel like I've rambled too much. I say too much. I feel like I've lost the point too many times. But I hope overall you guys have enjoyed this particular episode. It's the first one. They're gonna get better. Really, this was about me just fucking getting one done. Getting past that fucking first hurdle, because it's been difficult. I've been making a lot of excuses. I've been delaying a lot. I've been putting it off a lot. For a lot of different reasons, but most of it's been my own insecurities and self-doubt. And I didn't want to put out shitty content. You know, I want this to be a successful thing at some point. You know, I've been putting money into it, not a lot. You know, I've probably spent about $150 on equipment and, you know, other things, app upgrades and shit like that, promotional images, shit like that. So I spent about $150, and I'll probably spend another $100 on Facebook advertising. So there's something that's important to me, and I want it to be as successful as possible, reach as many people as possible. Even if it's only a few hundred, that's cool. But like I said, they're going to get better. The conversation topics are going to be more interesting, you know, less depressing. I'm going to focus a lot, like I said, on music. I'll probably talk about, you know, mixed martial arts from time to time. I'll talk about my past drug history, because there's a lot of fucking interesting shit, a lot of interesting stories there. I got a lot of funny stories from my past that I'm gonna, you know, probably talk about. And like I said, I will have guests on, and the conversation topics will vary greatly, I'm sure, with guests, from guest to guest. But yeah, man, so that's basically the first show. I hope it was worth listening to. That's 45 minutes. That's a long time to just listen to somebody ramble. I know I do it all the time. I listen to fucking Bill Burr talk about the fucking Knicks or whatever for 45. I don't even watch sports, but I'll listen to that man just fucking ramble. It's crazy, the shit that comes out of his mouth. But so fucking follow my page if you wanna, you know, get into some of that future material. You can find it Positively Insane Podcast on Facebook. You can get it on YouTube, Positively Insane Podcast again. Fucking hit me up on Gmail, same name. You know, and that's basically it, guys. I wanted to end the show on like a really high positive note, but just don't give up. And if you feel like giving up, make a podcast. I don't fucking know. I'm sorry, guys. This was just me getting my fucking foot out the door. All right. Next episode will be better. Every episode I'll try to improve. Have a good night. Take it easy.